So it's the 11th of April 2023, and they've been expecting temperature drops this week. And I have to be honest, I did not expect to wake up this morning to have our first frost. So I can't really see on the camera at the moment, but I'm going to quickly go to the garden. As I say, the open areas are very white this morning. Compost heap, you'll be able to see the frost. So all this sort of shadow areas, you can see frost. I'm not sure if you can see the frost over there. Fortunately, the trees provide some cover. But yeah, as I say, not what I was expecting. So as you can see, all the grass on my compost heap. And so all the grass here is also slightly frosted. I was still thinking I need to cover my tomatoes because they still got a lot of fruit on them that is ripening, and looks like I'm a little bit late. So as I say, here you can probably see the frost a bit better. My garlic bed, you can very definitely see the frost. I mean, here it's almost twinkling in the sunlight. So definitely not what I was expecting. Look at all this white. All my carrots, lychee, berry tomatoes are unfortunately frost tender, so don't think they're going to take that well. Everything's got a bit of frost on it, unfortunately. The okra, all the little, I think that's also frost tender as far as I know. So as I say, look at all that frost. I was still thinking I was going to cover all this stuff today. It looks like I'm too late. I'll cover it anyway. Those tomatoes are fortunately a bit covered, so they are right, but all the ones on that side have got a bit of frost on them. So yeah, as I say, there's still a lot of fruit on these vines, but we'll just have to see what we can get out of it. So if there was any doubt that winter's coming, I think it's safe to say. You can see the frost nasty there now that I've put in the shadow. For anyone else in South Africa, winter's arrived. Well, definitely by us. Look at all the frost on these Brussels sprouts. So yeah, as I say, if you can see in the surrounding, it's all very white. So welcome winter 2023. Not my favorite season, but we all have to have all seasons, so let's go. All the garlic. Fortunately, this will be alright. Fortunately, close to the house, it's quite sheltered, so all my peppers and my tree tomato, my tamarillo is still alright. The fruit is only just starting to turn, so I'll be very bummed if I don't get to harvest that, because I've literally been waiting all season for that. As I say, my cayenne peppers and my paprikas are looking alright. So they're still not 100% there. They still need to start reddening up, but at least these I'll be able to get covered, and they'll look alright. They should be okay for the time being. So I'm just going to give you a quick garden tour post our little surprise frost earlier this week. The garlic is doing well, so the kabar is up nicely. The Tuscan is very happy. Moroccan Creole, not so happy. There's very few that have actually come up quickly. I mean, compared to the other garlic, it's taken a very long time. The guy's Joy is very happy that's come up. Even my elephant garlic, I've still got one or two still coming up, but they've all popped their heads out. And then the rest of this bed is Egyptian pink, so are a couple of spots, but in general most of that is sprouted and growing nicely. Over here on the end I've put in leeks, so just 3 lines of leeks, so just waiting for those to sprout. Over here I've put in carrots, so I've got 3 different varieties. I've got the Karoo, Rainbow, and then Kuroda. So the Karoo is a faster growing carrot, so they'll potentially be ready before the other 2, which I did on purpose. I'm not sure if you can see here, you can see the little green sprouts already. It's a bit difficult to see it on the camera. There are a couple of green sprouts there with the carrots as they are starting to sprout. So quite a few carrots there. These are looking very sad post frost. They're quite frost tender, not happy. So I'll probably end up just pulling them out because the chances that they're going to recover is highly unlikely. Lychee tomato berries, also looking a little sad, but I have got a couple of fruit on them, so we'll hopefully get these ripened enough so that I can actually satisfy my curiosity. There's another one up there of what they are, and this was just something, the name intrigued me, so I bought the seed. Over here I have planted some more peas. I've definitely got something visiting my garden. I'm not sure what yet. That can't really see it on the camera, but almost looks like a porcupine. In which case I'm going to have to go fetch my cage to put it back. I found there's a piece of mealy tassels over there, which I found one of my mealies eaten. So there's a good chance that I have a selective grazer back in my garden, so I'll look at that. My volunteer mealies looking good. They're actually potentially starting to get too hard to pick now. My beans also got very hurt with the frost, so I'll probably end up harvesting what's left here on the beans and also the mealies, and then pull the whole lot out. But they've done quite well. The tomatoes obviously do not like frost, and they are looking very sad. So I've actually picked all the tomatoes from here and put them in boxes in a warm spot in the house to try and get the last bit ripened. So all of this I'm going to take out, and then I have cauliflower and broccoli and some more cabbage and things that I've put in seed trays, so that'll go in there. Got my Brussels sprouts, so they are starting to come along nicely. Can actually look at harvesting some of those. The other ones are quite small, but yeah, as I say, the Brussels sprouts. This little cucumber I think is also just going to ended up being pulled out. It's all my popcorn, which I will also pull out now that it's done, and I'm going to plant onions there because I've got multiplying onions there. I'll also pull out that last cabbage there. And then over here I've actually put tags in already to designate. So I've got some kohlrabi that is going to be going in, the purple and white. And then I've also got beetroot that's going to be going in here. The brinjals, I've just decided to leave a little bit longer. I've got fruit still trying. We'll just see what the weather does, but those will also get pulled out when I do the tomatoes. These ones here had some shade cloth over them, so they weren't as bad. But yeah, pull all of that out for the next crop. And then I've got broccoli here, which is also starting to get long in the tooth. It's covered because of the mouse birds. It's not really producing anymore. So I'll pull that out and plant the new lot in. And then over there I've got my kale. So it's starting to get a decent size now. And that'll keep us going. This one has also been very munched. So I've definitely got a critter problem again. And then these are Egyptian walking onions. So these are planted a couple of weeks back. So they've still got a long way to go. Onions being a long season crop. So basically the onions will start here. They've got the walking onions, multiplying onions, and then I'll have the normal onions where the popcorn mealies were. And then in the rest of the garden, what I want to do this winter is I want to lay some plastic out. Those pallets there, I want to make a couple of raised beds in the middle. And I want to try and get that going this winter in preparation for next season, putting lettuce and stuff like that in there. So I have planted some year-round lettuce in trays, not a lot, but just a little bit to see how it goes through the winter, what its needs are, so that I can plan for next season. And that's pretty much what the garden is looking at the moment. As I say, not a lot going on. Everything's growing a lot slower with it cooling off, but we've still got our garden going, so that's great. And I also want to work, you'll see there's a pipe lying here, so I was trying to get that straightened out in the sun so that I can start putting in my water pipes, so that I don't have to pull a garden hose around, because as my number of beds increases, it gets harder and harder pulling the hose, because it starts pulling over the beds when you're trying to turn around, and I don't want to damage any of the plants as I'm pulling the hose through the beds. So I want to try and prioritize getting that in. You'll see there's a whole piece of pipe here that I've been trying to straighten out. So as soon as I start on that lot, I'll show you what I have planned for that. I just want to thank you for hanging out with me today, and I'll get you guys caught up when we get to the next things in the garden. Have an awesome one, and thanks for joining us. Bye for now.